Let's start by first dispelling a myth. You often hear people say, people fear change. No, they do not. People fear sudden change. But gradual change is perfectly comfortable. It's the difference between evolutionary change and revolutionary change. If you have revolutionary change, there's always a counter-revolution, there's always pushback, and there's always people who will protect the status quo because they benefit from the status quo. But evolutionary change can be revolutionary in its impact, but it is a lot less threatening. So how do you affect effective, sticky change in which there's less likely to be mass rebellion against it and those who fearlessly defend the status quo? Well, number one, you have a sense of cause or purpose. That comes first. You have to know why you're affecting the change in the first place, and you want to have that idealistic vision that you're pursuing and a clear sense of purpose and why. Well, that's where we start. Number two, we obey the law of diffusion of innovations. The law of diffusion of innovations very simply states that all populations, regardless of their size, sift across the standard deviation, the old bell curve. In any population, if you have high performers, you're going to have low performers, and you're going to have an average. What the law of diffusion tells us is the first 2.5% of any population are your innovators. These are your big idea people, your Elon Musks, your Richard Bransons. Then you have 13.5% of your population, which are your early adopters. They have a high risk tolerance. They're willing to try something new because it reflects their own beliefs. They're willing to spend money, time, and effort to be a part of something that is new and different. Again, that reflects their beliefs. Then you have an average. The early majority and the late majority. More cynical, more practical, less open to change, more risk averse. They say things like, if something goes wrong, will I get in trouble? If anything goes wrong, will I get my money back? Am I going to get blamed for this? That's sort of the majority sort of opinion about things. And then you have your laggards. The only reason they go along with any change is because they have no choice anymore. What the law of diffusion tells us is that if we want to have any kind of impact in the bell, in the majority, which is clearly what we want, you don't actually aim your effort at the bell. Remember, these are the people that are fine with the status quo, have a low risk tolerance, and they're going to defend the status quo. You actually want the early adopters. And what you want to do is get 15 to 18% market penetration. You get those early adopters to buy into something, you get enough of them, and the system just tips. And it makes perfect sense, because the early majority will not try something before somebody else has tried it first. Remember, low risk tolerance. And so when you want to affect change in a population, don't worry about rolling it out, pushing it out. Don't worry about PowerPoints explaining why this change is good. Find the people who you already have a sense are open-minded to this stuff. Give them psychological safety. Give them top cover to try new things. Reward them. Put them in positions of influence or leadership, formal or informal. Publicly recognize them for the kinds of behaviors that they're doing. And if you ignore the law of diffusion, you'll always get about 10%. These are the people that we describe as they just get it. Oh, I love them. I love her. She just gets it. Oh, I can't stand that guy. He doesn't get it. What do we mean by get it? This is what we mean. It's that desire to be a part of something different. 10% is not enough to make the system tip. You need 15 to 18% of any population, and it will tip. So, for police chiefs and sheriffs out there who are trying to change the culture of their force, of their agency, don't worry about everybody. Go find the ones who share your vision and work with them to affect the change. And it'll happen quicker than you think.